From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome into another edition of The Horse's Mouth here on CW17. I'm your host, Tom McManus. Hope you had a great week, Jacksonville, hustling, chasing those dreams, getting things done, and doing good work here in this fine city. We'll do that here today. A good friend of mine, long friend of mine named Kevin Hardy will be joining us. Chris Reimer from the PGA Tour and more guests headed your way on this week's edition of The Horse's Mouth. All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here on CW17. My celebrity guest is the one and only Kevin Hardy, second pick overall in the 1996 draft, longtime Jaguar fan or player and fan, and of course now residing in the city of Jacksonville. Kev, good to have you, man.
Thanks, Tom.
Great to see you.
Appreciate it.
We're doing
Glad
TV again, man.
Back on TV. This
That's
is where
right.
I belong.
Yeah, that's right. Especially sitting at a bar with me,
There you
right?
go. That's right.
We've done that before. I know that. Well, like I mentioned, second pick overall in the 1996 draft. When did you know that you were going to be a top 5 pick? Because that's not everybody wakes up every day and is a top 5 pick. When did Kevin Hardy know he's going to be one of those picks?
Well, after that season was over, in college, you start the workouts, you go into the combines, you all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of talk. Myself and Simeon Rice were going to be top 5, top 10 guys.
Right, your college teammate.
Yeah. And the thing about this is when I went to the combine, I thought I had messed up because I didn't grade out very well.
Okay.
And then I was able to, to do better at my pro day, and so I kind of got myself back on track. But as I was taking, visits to some of the teams, I'd gone to see the Giants and the late not Dan Reeves, but George Young.
Yep, the GM.
The GM and Dan Reeves, they were sitting in the room and, they basically told me that they didn't think I was going to be there at 5, but if I was, that they for sure were going to take me.
Wow.
So I walked out of there, saying, wow, I'm going to be a top 5 pick, so I was pretty stoked right there.
So Simeon goes number 1 that year, is that right?
No.
Oh, he didn't. He went 3 then.
He went 3.
Okay.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah. Wow.
And the interesting thing about it, the night before, because there was some talk that I could have been the number 1 pick.
Wow.
But, the night before, I remember my agent, he called my dad and I into the room, and he had said he just got off the phone with the Jets, and they told him that they were going to pick Keyshawn.
Yep.
And so he says, well, now our focus goes to Jacksonville. And the interesting thing is Jacksonville was the only team of the top 5 that never even brought me in for a visit.
Wow.
So I didn't think that it was going to happen. In Jacksonville, I thought probably 3 at Arizona.
Okay.
But it worked out.
It worked out great, no question about that. Did you know anything about Tom Coughlin before he drafted you?
I did not. I didn't know anything about Tom.
Crash course when you got here, huh?
Yeah, exactly, a real crash course.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, man, I would have it no other way.
Right.
Tom is the type of guy that it's tough. When you're playing for him.
Right.
You look back and then you miss it because when I left Jacksonville, I went to play in Dallas and then finished up in Cincinnati.
Right.
And I can honestly say that, I miss Tom Coughlin when I went to those places because just the discipline, just the, just the organization, the structure, all that, it was just so different. But like I said, I was happy to be able to have my time here.
What was it like as far as pressure? Did you have additional pressure being the first pick that year of the team?
Yeah, well, there's always that pressure.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you don't want to be labeled is as a bust.
Right.
And I remember, the first game of the season that year we opened up with Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
that.
I do.
And
you had a sack and a pick, I believe.
A sack and interception.
That's right.
And I thought,
That's
I thought this stuff is easy.
Right.
But,
no kidding.
But that first year was such a fun year. Just playing the way we played, the way the team played, getting to the playoffs.
Yep.
Just an amazing
Well, speaking of easy, we went to the playoffs, the AFC Championship game your rookie year. Then the next 3 years went to the playoffs every year. And then, in '99, we go back to the AFC Championship. I mean, you probably think, man, this is pretty easy in the NFL.
Exactly. And if you remember, Jeff Loggeman, I remember he pulled myself and Tony Brackens aside. We were in Denver after that game.
Yep.
And he was like, you better cherish this rookie. This doesn't happen very often. And I'm thinking, all right.
Whatever.
But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, you look back and you really understand how difficult it is.
Yep.
Because after that '99 season, I never went back to the playoffs. Not, the last couple of years in Jacksonville and then in Dallas, Cincinnati, we never even sniffed the playoffs. So
That's right. It's special.
It is special.
It is hard to get to.
It is.
No doubt. Well, we're going to take a quick time out. More with Kevin Hardy here on The Horse's Mouth on CW17. Stay tuned. All right, back here on The Horse's Mouth, my good friend Kevin Hardy, second overall pick in 1996, had an incredible career, 9 years in the National Football League, playing outside backer. What was the best part of playing outside backer in the NFL?
Well,
rushing a QB,
that
covering. What'd you like the best?
And it was doing that under Dom Capers.
Yeah,
because you talk about a guy who had tremendous schemes. He always found a way for us to get to the quarterback, and those were the best years. Being able to to run that blitz package that he had. You always like getting after the quarterback, and so I think I finished my career with 36 sacks. But it's something about.
You think or you know?
Yeah. I should have said 40.
Somewhere around 40.
Round number. But getting after the quarterback, that was a lot of fun in the NFL.
How about today's Jags? Who do you like getting after? And Ngakwe's pretty special getting to the QB, obviously. But who are your guys on the current team you like?
I think I think you're right. Ngakwe, coming off the edge is a tremendous pass rusher.
Yeah.
But those guys have swag. And like watching them play, it reminded me of how when we were playing.
Yep.
Jalen Ramsey, just bringing that attitude.
Yep. A little bit like Beasley.
A little bit like Beasley.
Aaron Beasley was like that.
That's right. And I think, probably one of the biggest parts of the defense was Calais Campbell this year.
Yeah.
I think that, he brought a leadership that I think that they were lacking, in the past. Every time I watched them, I would always think that they didn't have, that leader out there. I mean,
right.
Paul Zinski was a tremendous linebacker, tremendous player, and not to knock him in any way because I think he was a great leader, but he wasn't that on the field vocal leader that I think that they lacked, and I think that's what Campbell brought to the team this year, and I think it showed. Speaking
of leadership, Tom Coughlin back inside the organization. How about that? What a full circle. For him to come back here and lead this team. And you saw that along with Coach Marone and everybody else, I mean, he really made an impact.
He did make an impact. And then, you talk to the guys, the first thing that they say is the whole thing about if you're 5 minutes early, you're late.
That's right.
and as you know, like that's his stamp. But he just brings, accountability.
Yeah.
And guys are just on point. And I think that Jacksonville's lucky to have him back here involved in the organization.
Yeah, you were never in that 5 minute early window.
Never. I never got fined.
Never.
Not me.
No, that's right. That's right. Well, as you look at 2018, this is going to be a big year for the Jags. Obviously, great year last year. They've got the talent. But you and I both know it's not always just talent. You got to stay healthy. Things got to go your way. The schedule's going to be tougher. What are you expecting out of them in 2018?
Like everybody, I'm expecting them to get back to the playoffs and do big things.
Yep.
Like you said, it's not guaranteed. Just because they finished on a high note last year, that the same thing's going to happen. But hopefully they pick up where they left off. Hopefully the defense continues to play, the way that they've been playing. And Bortles just needs to continue to grow.
Yeah.
You
like him?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
I think he's tough.
I think that for everything that the guy's been taking over the years, I mean, he's hung in there, and he's performed and he's done with it. He showed that at the end of the year that he could be a decent quarterback.
Sure.
He just has to continue to make good decisions, and I think that the team needs to put him in position to be able to to manage the game and make good decisions.
Defensive guys like us really appreciate a tough QB. Brunell was tough, right? I mean, I don't know who else you had, but Brunell, when we were teammates together here in Jacksonville, he was a tough individual. Had grit, could make plays any which way but loose, right? That's what you want out of QB. I think they have some of that in Blake.
They do. And I used to say that, like one of the biggest assets of our defense was our offense.
Yeah, right.
Because they would put points on the board and we'd go on the field. Sometimes we'd go on the field, it'd be 7-0. Hell, it might be 10-0.
That's right.
And we could, do a lot more then. And so I think, when you look at, our offense, that toughness you're talking about, Fournette as a running back brings toughness.
Oh, yeah.
And the O-line needs to continue to solidify. But you're exactly right. And, the toughness, if you can get that on offense, it just carries over to defense and special teams, all phases of the game.
Yep.
And, if they're able to continue that this year, I think they'll be fine.
I think so, too. One thing our audience may not know, Kevin, post-career is an entrepreneur. He's a guy that has owned his own businesses down in Miami Beach, continues to do a lot of work out there. He's a football coach this year with Brunell at Episcopal. But what do you take from playing, Kevin, and everything you've learned through sports, not just football, but growing up through the NFL that you use every day to be successful out there?
Well, I have my biggest accomplishment right now is my two sons, and like you said, I have the 15-year-old that's playing at Episcopal, and the younger one is going to be playing. But we talked about accountability. That Tom Coughlin kind of instilled in us, and those are the things that I'm trying to instill in my boys, and also going to bring that hopefully to that program over there.
Yep.
But when kids are at the age that they are now, it's so important, to shape them in the right direction, and hopefully I'm able to continue to do that, and they're able to find success in whatever they choose to do.
As you know, I have 3 girls who dance. Every time I try to fire them up, they're like, Dad, not everything's football. I always say, yes, it is. Come on, tell me I'm right, right? Almost everything.
Almost everything. With my boys, they love baseball too. But yeah, I think
sports in general.
Sports in general.
No doubt about it. All right, hang in there. We got more to come here on the Horse's Mouth. Chris Reimer, communications manager from the PGA Tour, will join us here at the bar along with my good friend Kevin Hardy. More to come on the Horse's Mouth. All right, welcome back to the Horse's Mouth here on CW17. Of course, with my good friend Kevin Hardy, and now joined at the bar by Chris Reimer, communications manager with the PGA Tour. Chris, great to have you, man.
Great to be here.
Welcome to Tommy Max.
Yeah, I mean, I get to sit by 2 Jaguar legends. This is fantastic.
Oh man, we're the pleasure's ours, man. You got one of the best jobs in the history of jobs, I think, being a communications manager at the PGA Tour.
Well, it's certainly not hard to get people excited about the Players Championship and about golf right now with everything that's going on in the game. It is an exciting time to be a part of it, and I think as we prepare for the Players Championship, I think you're going to see record crowds, I think record excitement, and we've really built it into a tournament where it's not just for the golf fan, it's really for everybody. And what it does for the community here in Jacksonville is truly special.
Look, the field that comes, that aligns with this tournament is phenomenal, right? And now not only is this young talent with Fowler and the other guys, but Tiger Woods coming back. Tiger seems to be making a push here and there. I mean, maybe the perfect storm, right? Tiger Woods wins his first major back here in Jacksonville.
We're ready. We're ready for him to win here. That would be no problem for us. But it's a perfect storm right now because of his absence from the game, and enabled 20 or so players to really build a name for themselves. Now that may be mostly to the hardcore sports fan, but I think if you say Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, Dustin Johnson, those names resonate now with the average fan. And to have Tiger now add his name and Phil Mickelson to have their names in addition to those guys, when you have that leaderboard on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's got a group of those names, it's only going to grow the interest in a tournament that, to be honest, is really becoming more than just golf.
It is, yeah.
So it's an exciting time.
And the Tuesday, I love the Tuesday. Now you get the Military Appreciation Day. You've got the concert. It's going to be another great. Who's doing the concert this year?
Got Luke Combs this year, country artist, and last year Sam Hunt.
That's right.
And we moved it out to the 17th hole from the clubhouse. So you've got this natural amphitheater. We are going to start the concert at 5:30 this year, a little bit earlier. I think, as you guys know, there's really only 2 arteries that go in and out of Ponte Vedra, so get there early. Don't try to arrive to the concert right at 5:30 because you won't see much of it. The traffic continues to be, probably our biggest issue, getting people in and out. So come early. Come around noontime. Skip work. We give you the right. We'll give you a doctor's note that you can forge.
There you go.
Come out early. Enjoy and that military appreciation. We always have a really good moment to identify and thank those members of the 4 service groups and their families and first responders for all that they do. It's the least the players can do in a military town such as Jacksonville, Florida.
Kevin, when we were playing for the Jags, I would go out to the players, but I was always so tired from the off-season program. I love it now. I don't have to do any of that, right? You just go out and be a fan of golf and get to meet and see so many people at Jacksonville.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I've been out there a few times, and early on, I used to, you out there and you're just kind of, mingling around. But as the years have gone by, I've become a bigger golf fan.
Yeah.
And now I find myself, following some guys and walking around and you hear, the chatter, and it's just a great environment. I think Jacksonville is a great place for golf, and the players is just the cherry on top.
Chris? What's your second favorite tournament?
That's a good question. Every market we go to, we have these traditions, these restaurants we have to eat at, or karaoke bars we got to go to. Atlanta's really fun because it's kind of our Super Bowl. It's the final event. No, it's the Tour Championship at East Lake. It's our final event. It's where the FedEx Cup is crowned. So there's a really cool energy in the air, and then Atlanta's just a good town in general. But I think between what you're mentioning as not necessarily being a huge golf fan, we've set up a lot of different fan journeys on our website. So if it's Girls' Day at the golf course, we've got wine and food and a great little route for you to take around the golf course that maybe you're not going to see much golf. We've got the permanent restrooms there because I know there aren't many women that want or get excited about going in a porta potty. So we've got that situation. But then we've also got journeys for the hardcore golf fan, for the family. Kids get in free. So if you're a coach and you want to bring every member of your team out, if you're that crazy, you can do that. One ticketed adult can get 20 kids in for free. Fantastic. That's something to grow the game. We've got fan journeys set up for the guys, sports socialite. If you're just out there to see and be seen, wear your goofy pants, wear your goofy shirt. Come out and have a good time. We're partnering with Hoptinger this year for a beer garden, for some good craft brews. 26 local restaurants are going to be out there. So food, fashion, everything that there is to enjoy away from the course is available. And of course, there's plenty for the hardcore golf fan.
I love the fact too, real quick as we wrap up this segment. I love the fact today a grounds ticket is just like having a pass to whatever, the whatever club there is, because you have so much to offer. The villages that you offer and places to go to, tacos on 12, all that kind of stuff. You've really done a nice job for everybody to really enjoy their time there.
Yeah, we like to think that our general admission ticket is one of the best in sports. A lot of general admission tickets, you're taking your binoculars, you're up in the highest you can get. You can get 6 feet on the rope line from the greatest players in the world with a general admission. And then, as you mentioned, there's all these available hospitality areas that you can get to, and at the end, last year we announced $8.5 million for charity going back to the Jacksonville area. So every ticket bought, every hospitality tent purchased, all that money comes back to the area.
Well, trouble for me, trying to be a golfer is I want to always snap that club in half and throw it. And get rid of it. Take the whole bag and throw it in the pot. For crying out loud.
No tackling the caddy out of that. That's not allowed.
That's right. All right, more to come here with Chris Reimer from the PGA Tour. Kevin Hardy, of course, my good friend, and Lee Israel's going to join us, president of Avondale Travel, who's got a great golf package to share with us here on the Horse's Mouth on CW17. All right, welcome back to the Horse's Mouth here on CW17, live from Tommy Mack's. Great to be here. Chris Reimer has been here from the PGA Tour. Of course, Kevin Hardy as well. a longtime fan favorite of the Jags, and Lee Israel, president of Avondale Travel, joins us now here at Tommy Mac's. Lee, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, of course, with Kevin and Chris. And hey, before we get into it, reminder to all the participants or all the fans for TPC, the military gets in free, as does kids under 18, as long as there's a ticket with them. Is that correct, Chris?
Ticketed adult, 18 and under, as many as you want to bring can get in for free. So really important for the community to grow the game, bring the kids out. They're going to enjoy a great time. Yeah,
no question about it. It's always a great event. Lee, you have some great events that you get to go to, right? Just came back from Newport Beach, California on a golf excursion, but you've got to be a big fan of the golf game, I'm sure.
Love golf. Love golf. I've actually had the opportunity to play a couple of fabulous courses, including St. Andrews, the old course. I actually did not play this past trip, but I was at Pelican Hill, which is fantastic for golf. Have you been able to check it out? If you haven't, you've got to go.
I haven't been, but out there on the West Coast, Pebble Beach, Torrey Pines, doesn't matter, South, North California, either one. There's so many good golf courses out there, and just to be on that coastline is always amazing. So I mean, that's the unique thing about golf, is how many generations can share it. I had a golf event with my son and my dad the other day, so 17-year-old and 70-year-old, and all of us out there hacking the ball around. That's one of the special things, is how we can all share the game for fellowship and fun. It makes golf unique.
Kevin, all the travels you've done, as a Jag after football, what's your favorite travel destination? Do you have one?
I've left a lot of divots in a lot of courses around, but I always forget the names of these places. It's the course up in Toronto.
You got me on that one.
Yeah, okay.
That's a beautiful places.
Yeah, it was a course that Tiger made this amazing run, because they had these plaques on the course.
Where the Canadian Open is, yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name of the course, but it was one of my favorites. But I mean, I've like playing around here. There's so many great courses to play, but I'm just not that great of a golfer. So.
Right. But if you're taking a trip, where do you like going? Where do you take the family?
Any place in the Caribbean. I love it. Turks and Caicos is one of my favorites. Yep. We went to a wedding a few years ago down in St. John's, and that was very nice. Imagine what it's like after these hurricanes. But
unbelievable.
Yeah.
We went to Eleuthera last summer as a family in the Bahamas, and that was really cool. Really rustic, but very beautiful.
Is that the place with the pigs and all
that? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could jump. I jumped off a 30-foot cliff into the ocean, and got my oldest daughter to do it with me. Took her a little while, but man, it's such a great excursion. How about you, Chris? Where do you like to go?
I'm with you guys. Like if I'm gonna take off of work, I'm gonna go somewhere where I can put my toes in the sand and have a beer. And that's just it's funny that all of us live in Florida and we still like to go to these Caribbean destinations. But I'm with you guys. I'll go on a ski trip every once in a while.
Okay.
But for me, you just can't beat the ocean.
Lee, how about people around Jacksonville? Where do they? Is it the Bahamas? Is the Caribbean? Is that probably the number one destination for you?
We do a lot of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of Europe. South Africa is becoming more popular.
Okay.
And contrary to popular belief, Iceland. Everyone wants to go.
We went there for Christmas. We went there for Christmas.
Did you
really? A wild vacation. That place is beautiful.
It's incredible.
Absolutely gorgeous, and
so it's cold though, right? And so what are you doing there that makes it so awesome?
You're hiking. You're exploring.
Hot tubbing.
They're natural springs. They're natural sulfur springs that come from the volcano where you can just hop right in. But it's you're chasing the northern lights. I mean, that's a bucket list thing for a lot of different people. But we actually stayed in a hotel that was a complete bubble tent, so it's a big circle, just completely clear. So at night, seeing the northern lights. But it's just so different than anything you've ever experienced. So for my kids, it just opened their eyes to this earth is just so magnificent and has all these different destinations.
Right.
They thought they were in Star Wars. They're like, what is this? But it's unique, that's for sure.
So Lee, do you build packages for people that want to take a trip? They don't know where to go per se, or they do know where to go, and you build it for them?
We do. So everything that we do, we specialize in customized itineraries.
Okay.
So we like to know everything about you. And the ongoing joke in our office is that we probably know more about you than your wife does.
Right.
But that's because everything that we do is so bespoke and it's so tailored to everything. So if you like something and your wife doesn't, then we are going to send you like hiking and she wants to spa. So we're going to send her to the spa while you go hiking. So it's very, very tailored, and everything that we do, even for families, is specific towards them to where everyone will enjoy it.
Well, I'm pretty easy. I need a bar. I need the beach, right? I mean, other than that, I need a place to work out, and I'm good to go. I'm good. How about you, Kev?
That sounds good
About
to me.
the same. About the same. All right. Well, great. Well, hey, real quick as we wrap up, since we love this city, I'm going to give you each a shot at what's your favorite thing to do in Jacksonville. Start with you, Chris.
I love the water, and there are so many different options with the water. Whether you're going out on the river, where you're going on the intercoastal, or to the beach. I think if no matter how hot it gets here, if you can get out on the water, if you can get on a boat, if you can get on a paddleboard, if you can get in the ocean, it's just that's where you want to be, in my opinion.
How about you, Kev?
Same thing. I still have my boat, although I don't take it out nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But exactly. But one of my favorite things to do is just go down the intercoastal and the day trip to St. Augustine, Conch House on Sundays. It's just an amazing thing.
Yeah, St. Augustine's a great. You probably do some travel trips down there. I got to imagine. I love St. Aug.
We do, not as much as you would think, though.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, because St. Augustine is such a great destination. We'll bring people in that haven't been to Florida or that are coming in for weddings, and we'll do group blocks down there.
Sure. What's your favorite thing to do here?
I love this city. This city is awesome. Just electric. I mean, we have so much to offer. We're growing, we're expanding, we're bringing in more jobs. We have the river, we have the intercoastal, we have the ocean. We have so much to offer.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great place to live.
And you can't
That's why we never left, Kev.
That's why we never left.
You've been here a long time. We all love the fine city of Jacksonville. Thanks for joining me, all right? Great to have you here at Tommy Max on the Horse's Mouth.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, great. We'll be right back. More to come right here on CW17 with the Horse's Mouth. Just cleaning up my bar like all good bartenders do. Had a great show today. Want to thank Kevin Hardy, really good friend of mine, great dude on the field and off. He really does it well. Of course, Chris Reimer joining us from the PGA Tour. That was phenomenal. Hey, the Players' Championship, not a better event in our town, I don't think, each and every year. Lee Israel from Avondale Travel, that was really cool. And Joel Solsana, who's with U2 Cloud, and also the National Association for Vets and Families. As many of you know, my father and my mother, my brother, all veterans. So anytime somebody's helping the veterans out, I am a big fan of that. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. More to come. We got more seats at the bar. We'll be filling them throughout the upcoming weeks right here on the Horse's Mouth on CW17. Stay cool, Jacksonville, and be safe. Till next time.